Welcome to another video, guys. The new expansion came out almost 2 days ago, and now it's time to see how the meta is actually shaping up. So in this video we're gonna check out 5 of the best decks in the game right now, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips, but we're also gonna check out all of the other working archetypes for each individual class so you guys know what you should be playing with, as well as what you're probably playing against. If you find the video helpful, a like and a subscribe would be appreciated, and don't forget you can check me out live on stream each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, where I do my best to show you the best decks in the game right now. But now, let's get into the video.
You are not prepared!
Now, before we get into the decks, we gotta make a disclaimer. Obviously, the bugged dragon for Shaman definitely was making a killing, but now that is banned, so we're not gonna be talking about that deck. But instead, the first deck on the list is actually gonna be No Minion Mugs Shaman. And I'm kinda surprised. I checked out a similar version of this deck and didn't feel like it was performing that amazing, but apparently, according to the stats right now, this thing really is killing it, and it does look a little bit different from what I tried, so there's that too. The No Minion Shaman basically is getting the hero power that discounts the first minion each turn you play by -2, and that definitely sounds great, because there are plenty of different ways of you getting yourself extra minions, including the spells that actually transform into minions after they see free spells getting cast, like Storm Fury, like Frost Shatter, as well as Molten Gold. We also have plenty of other cards that actually give you minions, like Blazing Invocation can be great, and this thing discounts by an extra one, so you could be playing literally 10 drop as soon as turn 6 with the coin. The low security wing also helps you with extra minions. Mountain Map can be pretty good on that front as well. And you also have Sands of Time, which could discover you different minions through different spells, of course. All around the deck definitely could do some pretty good high rolls. It has good early game potential. It can do very well in the mid game. It does have plenty of control, plenty of sustain, and everything you might need in order to actually climb well on ladder. Matchup wise, we're not going to be having too much stats just yet, but this is what it's looking like. Against Face Hunter, you're actually going to be great because you can be healing literally as soon as turn 4 if you have the 7 drop, because that goes down to 5 with the coin down to 4, so that can be pretty neat for you. Troublemaker Rogue is also not going to be a problem, so there's that too. When it comes down to mulligans, here's what it's going to look like going first. You are going to be looking for Blazing Invocation, the Location, Mountain Map. Ritual of Power is also pretty good. Frost Shatter, apparently, like this thing goes down to a free mana, draw a couple of cards, freeze a character, and also 5/5 on the board, why wouldn't you? Molten Gold is kind of the same deal. Getting yourself a nice minion with 4 damage just after you cast 3 spells. It's gonna cost only 1 mana for you, pretty decent. Sands of Time's okay, Tiny Pal, the rest probably not so much, even though if you're against the Hunter, Storm Fury probably also makes the cut. On the coin, again, plenty of the same deal. Try to get the good early stuff and you should be good. For other good Shaman decks, like I said, the Slackclaw bugged card definitely is making a killing right now, and a lot of people actually abuse the hell out of it, and you can see we definitely have some pretty insane win rates with that, but since that card is banned, and for good reason, let's exclude decks with that card so we can see the real picture, and here it is. This is the list I'm showing you. 500 plus gains for less than a couple of days sounds good, and we do have a much higher sample size with definitely a lot lower win rate, but still pretty respectable, so the deck definitely does look strong. Other than that, we can also see Herald Shaman is still up there, and I did try another minion version of Shaman with Mugsy, which I'm not seeing right now. It definitely looked like it had quite the high roll potential, but so far it doesn't seem to be showing on the stats. Spot number 2 goes down to Egg Warrior, and I definitely was planning on trying this deck. I simply didn't have enough time because we played all sorts of other things, but yeah, Egg Warrior with the added Chainbreaker Hogger definitely makes a lot of sense in this deck. We also have the new Warp Tooth in here, but everything else is same old same old. The whole point of this deck is you get a second copy of Umbra, which is absolutely insane, and also a second copy of the egg, so odds of you actually finding it much higher, and also the second Holy Egg Bearer is not going to be completely empty too, so there's that too. This definitely makes the deck a lot more consistent, and it's still gonna be annoying as hell. Having to handle a big 20/20 definitely ain't no joke, and having a second way of actually filling the board with those also pretty broken. And with this list, you no longer have to be running what's her face, this girl, Nablia, even though it also kinda makes sense for you to run it. She is definitely the worst legendary after Endbringer Umbra, so having 2 of those, probably better to have none than to have 2, something like that. Having yourself a way to get yourself Warp Tooth nice and quick, and 2 of them too, also pretty insane. Like with this deck, you are gonna be damaging yourself plenty of times, so getting yourself a little bit of extra tempo, a little bit of reaction on the board would be pretty huge. So yeah, this deck definitely is pretty sick right now. For the matchups, we don't have too much stats, but you're gonna be fine against Z-Shaman. I'm assuming this is the bugged Slackclaw version, yeah? Because this deck cannot be running hexes, you're probably not gonna be too good against the spell variant, however. And as for the mulligans, here's what it's gonna look like. Going first, of course, you're still gonna be looking for your Holy Holy Egg Bearer or the egg itself. The location's fine, the shield block for the card draw, Slam, Axe. The Forefather is also pretty decent. Eternal Toil, maybe Acolyte of Pain, but probably not, honestly. I was actually looking at both. Honestly, going first is kind of the same deal. Going second, again, kind of the same deal, so not much difference there. Might as well just let it on both, and it's kind of same old, same old. For other good warrior decks, it's definitely also worth mentioning Dragon Warrior. Has plenty of sample size, has very big win rate right now, and the only difference again is Hogger plus Warp Tooth, and they've also added Mother Duck in here, so you have a better chance of actually getting yourself the 2 Warp Tooths nice and quick, but everything else is pretty much the same deal, so we're not gonna talk about Dragon Warrior all that much. Might as well just check out what other warrior decks we have out there. Bruh. And here we have it. This is the list I'm showing you. This is the second one with the Dragon Warrior action. And we get to scroll further to see some other iterations. Plenty of different Dragon Warrior lists. Herald Warrior is looking okay-ish. Nothing too crazy. And that's pretty much it for the warrior class right now. Spot number 3 goes down to Face Hunter, and no surprises there, but the surprising part is it actually does have plenty of new cards in here, and by plenty I mean 3. The new cards in here would be the Underbelly Network, well actually 4. We also have the Smuggled Shovel, which is definitely pretty good with this package, the Arcane Tripwire, as well as Beast Tripwire, and that definitely does make the deck play out quite different than what we're used to. And because of all the Tripwire action, we also have a little bit more card draw than some other lists out there, with a couple of tame pets involved. Anyway, going through the deck, we definitely just have the same old Face Hunter stuff, nothing really crazy about these. We still have the Rock Skipper, we still have Neri to double up a lot of the 1-drops, but with the help of the Underbelly, we're definitely gonna have a lot more card draw with the 2/1 rats. The Smuggled Shovel definitely helps big time, and this is an extra 1-drop to repeat for Arcane Tripwire, as well as the Beast Tripwire. And these cards really do amp up the damage a lot, like it's basically 3 mana, 15 damage, potentially of course, and it also could be going into minions, but still it definitely feels pretty good. And the fact that this deck has so much card draw, especially with the help of Confront the Tolvir eventually, which is gonna repeat the Smuggler Shovel as well, definitely feels pretty good. You do have plenty of high rolls with the Beast Tripwire, with things like the 3/12 Grizzlies, the 2/7 Rushers that give you Garishi Swarmers, the 5/2 Rushers are also kinda okay, and of course we do have the Sylvanas Sisters, which are also pretty decent. Matchup wise, we actually have a good amount of sample size here, so you can see the bigger picture. And there's really not that many bad matchups, like only Dragon Warrior apparently, everything else 50-50 or very much in your favor. When you're going first, of course, you're gonna be looking for your good early game minions. The Underbelly Network is definitely great, but if you already don't have a 1-drop, be careful keeping anything. Smuggled Shovel is also okay-ish, but not the best thing to be doing on turn 1, I do believe. Arcane Tripwire, if you're curving into it, can be good. One of the sisters, probably Varisa, would be the best to hold on to if you want to amp up the rest of the sisters, but I would only consider that in certain matchups. Like going first, I'm not really too sure you really care about the sisters too much. Maybe if you're against the Paladin, amping up Sylvanas to deal 4 damage instead of only 2 would be a good idea, so you can actually poke out Divine Shields and kill what's under. On the coin, again, try to find the good early game minions, the Tripwire, the Shovel. Again, a Sylvanas sister might be worth. And here I'd say tracking might be a little bit better, but for the most part, kind of the same deal. As you see, Confront the Tolvir, not as keepable with these decks. You are trying to naturally curve into it instead of just holding it from the beginning. For other Hunter decks, this is the one I'm showing you, kinda insane how much sample size this thing has. And we can also see other iterations of the deck with just slight differences. This one has Precise Shot as well as Sylvanas Triumph, which is definitely not bad. Even Warden Maiev makes the cut in this one, which is kinda interesting. I guess it's a little bit more minion heavy. Doesn't sound too strong if you ask me though, like you really don't have that many minions for Maiev to be worth it. We can also see the Tripwire Hunter I showed you. This is the deck I reached Legend with. It didn't feel that amazing in some instances, like it definitely felt like King of the Underbelly as well as Ratcatcher were a little bit of an overkill. And we can scroll down further, we can see other Face Hunters. Kinda weird we're not seeing a single Companion Hunter, and I've heard good things about Quest Hunter as well, but I guess we're gonna need a little bit more time for those lists to curate. Next up, of course, we have a Paladin list, and this is actually the exact Paladin list I built literally 5 minutes after the expansion came out, guys. You can't make this shit up. Like, it's literally card for card my list. I took the Vicious Syndicate list, I took out 1 Sand Fury Aura, as you see, and 1 Spearheart Sentry, and instead we slapped a couple of Violet Treasure Gills, and yeah, people like McBanterface played it, Game Ravager as well. And when we scroll down further, we can see, yes, Shaboy actually played that thing. Kinda cool, kinda cool. definitely gives you that warm fuzzy feeling inside. But yeah, Beatrix Paladin right now definitely looks pretty solid. I'm not sold that this is the best Paladin list right now, even though according to the stats it is. I would definitely consider removing the Gelbin package altogether. It does feel a little bit too slow, like you're not really planning on lasting that long, and even if you did, Gelbin is not going to be that big a deal at that point. So yeah, cutting out Gelbin, that's going to remove, of course, Mekatork Aura, Chrono Aura you're also going to remove, and the Gnomish Aura also fucks off, so instead of that, you could be doing a little bit faster things, like maybe a couple of Convalescence, you bring back one of the Spearheart Sentries, a couple of locations, and there you have it. You have a much quicker list that doesn't get cockblocked by things like Gelbin. The deck definitely feels nice, like the new 2-drop that gives you plenty of extra discounted stuff for Paladin is very amazing. You can also abuse the new Vigilant Sentry, which is just way too much stats for the mana, with literally no requirement, because you're really not against being a pure list. The new Reinforcement Aura definitely feels nice, even though some people call it a little bit weak. I really believe it's very amazing. Like, this thing pulling you a minion for free makes it so much easier to pull off Nosdormu plays, and that is really how you're gonna be winning a lot of the games. So yeah, the list is very fun, very good. You can check out my video about it if you want to hear more, but now let's see the matchups, and here we have it. Really nothing too bad, nothing too crazy either, so kind of a balanced list. When it comes down to the mulligan, going first, here's what we have. Of course, the Violet Treasure Guild is the highest win rate card. Like, why would we be running a list without our highest win rate card, guys? Really didn't make sense when I saw the list at first, so that's why we slapped it in. The Righteous Protector is great, the Vigilant Sentry, Reinforcement Aura, Flight Maneuver is still amazing, Acceleration Aura if you don't have the Treasure Guild already. The weapon can be okay, depending on the matchup, Manifested Time Waste, the rest probably not so much, even though in some cases if you're curving into Nosdormu, why wouldn't you? On the coin, again, plenty of the same deal, so mulligan accordingly. For other good Paladin lists, this is the one I'm showing you, 1000 games, 58 plus win rate, definitely good, but we also have another Beatrix list that is looking slightly different, with a little bit less win rate and sample size, and turn Paladin still pretty good with Vama. What the hell, dude? Why the hell would you be adding this card? Like, it is beyond bad. We can also see other Beatrix lists doing okay up there, and this is the Vicious Syndicate list, I'm pretty sure, like, card for card, it is the Vicious Syndicate list, so my list is literally almost 1.5% better than this thing, even though the sample size for this is much higher. Aggro Paladin looks pretty okay, small sample size though. Another Beatrix list, again with this thing. Another Entern Paladin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see plenty of different iterations of Paladin really soon, but for now, this is what the stats show. And the last deck on the list is, of course, going to be Troublemaker Rogue. This deck definitely has seen a lot of play. A lot of top legend players have been abusing the shit out of it. It's very strong, high skill cap still, but strong nonetheless. And if you know how you're playing it, you should be having a pretty good time with it. Name of the game with this one is you play a bunch of 2-drops, and Lotus Troublemaker is going to kick people's teeth in. And you can also get yourself some pretty sick stuff out of things like Jade Guardians. We even run the Garona package in here. Vanessa is in here, of course, which can single-handedly win games. And because of her, you have plenty of cheap stuff like backstabs, like traps, like coins out of Agent of the Old Ones, that kind of stuff. I might give it a check today, not really sure, maybe I will, maybe I won't, but until then, let's just see what the matchups are, and here we can see that Spellmug Shaman is actually doing pretty well against it. Not pretty, like just barely under, but still. And I do believe that the Tripwire Hunter is going to be doing pretty well against this one, but we can also see you're going to be pretty good against Beatrix Paladin, other rogues apparently, and 50-50 against Face Hunter, so there's that. When you're going first with this list, you are going to want to hold on to your Lotus Troublemaker so he starts seeing all of those 2-drops getting played. Vanessa on curve would be absolutely amazing. Lotus Bookie could be good. The Flashback, especially with a prep, is insane. The Foxy Fraud as well. The prep, the Rite of Twilight. Kingslayer apparently is also high on the list. Like, get this on 2 and you have a pretty good shot at getting yourself Vanessa for free. The Backstab could be a consideration. The rest probably not so much though. On the coin, the situation is not much different, so there's that. As for other good rogue decks, this is the one I'm showing. Not that high sample size, and the win rate is not that high, but trust me when I say the skill cap for this is a lot higher than the other decks, and of course, if you are a lot better, this win rate is gonna be a lot higher. We can also see other Troublemaker lists out there, with the weapons, with nabs and stuff, but not as good. Herald Rogue is also still up there, and all sorts of different iterations of those with questionable win rates. Moving down to the classes we haven't mentioned, starting off with Death Knight. Corpse Death Knight seems to be the best bet right now, and I'm kind of surprised that the Egg Corpse Death Knight is not here. Really did feel strong, and I do believe it's gonna see reasonable play, like something along the lines of 55% win rate potentially, but for now it's kind of under the radar. Moving down to Demon Hunters, so far it looks like absolute garbage. Like, I really expected this deck to be at least decent, not this bad, like 52, 53 at least. So far, doesn't seem to be the case. Same can be said for Druid. Chef Druid sounded like it's gonna be absolutely broken, but so far it's okay at best. Like, surely there's gonna be a much more balanced list out there eventually, but for now the situation is not looking that great. I did try Chef Druid on day one, tried adding things like Doomsayers, like Critter Caretakers, and so on and so forth to make the early game a little bit more bearable, but the meta was just simply too quick for it. We can also see there's several different iterations of Chef Druid, and I've heard things about Attack Mirifrid Druid, but so far that doesn't seem to be doing all that well. What's also not doing well would be Mage. Situation is absolutely terrible for the class still, and Mana Storm really hasn't made a dent so far. Eventually I'm pretty sure he's gonna be good, but for now the meta is just not for him. Contraband Mage also looks terrible. What's contraband about it? Not even sure what that's supposed to be, but whatever. Eventually I'm pretty sure in a couple of days we should be seeing Burn Mage doing okay, but until then Mage looks pretty bleak. Moving down to Priest, Quest Priest seems to be doing okay, and there was a bug with Azalina Priest for the first few hours, which got banned pretty swiftly, and as you can see the situation is not looking that great for the class altogether, and so far nothing great about Godfrey Warlock either. We are gonna have to work on it a little bit more. I think eventually we're gonna come down to a decent list for the class, but so far situation is looking kind of terrible, not gonna lie. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. Keep in mind, this is still early meta, so things are gonna be changing, and in a couple of days I will be giving you an updated guide about all of these, but until then, these are the best decks you could be playing with. Hope you found the video helpful, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be appreciated, and don't forget to check me out live on stream each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, live on Twitch. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.